All right, chat. Fresh out the gym, straight into a reaction. I was at the gym, just looking at certain workouts to do, and I came across this video right here. It's called "The Disturbing Case of Kyle Massey, Disney to Disgrace." What the hell happened to my screen? There we go. Disney to disgrace, and I'm like, what happened to bro? I mean, I kind of heard he fell off a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I be seeing things online, but apparently Patrick CC decided to make a video about it. So I want to see what's going on with my boy Cory from Cory in the House. You feel me? Kyle Massey or whatever. So let's find out what's going on with bro. Let's get straight into it, you heard? Please drop a comment, because apparently YouTube has changed their algae, bro. Like, they changed the algorithm, so I need them comments, bro. Please engage in my comments if you know what I'm saying, happen to watch the video, you like the video. Let me know what's going on. Let me know what's up. Holla at your boy, you heard?
He went from Cory in the House to Cory facing the big house, as
What?
Kyle Massey, former Disney Channel star, was charged with sending explicit pictures of himself to a 13-year-old.
Shut the fuck up, bro. Are you... What? I ain't gonna lie. At this point in life, I'm not even surprised. I'm really not. I'm not surprised. All the shit that's going on in the world right now, bro. Well, that's been going on, but y'all are just now finding out about. I'm not surprised, bro. I'm not. It just sucks it gotta be him, you know?
Girl, but Kyle claims that this was nothing more than an extortion attempt, even though his response had everyone scratching their head.
My response to those allegations.
By the way, Chad, this is not milk, okay? This is a strawberry protein shake. Like I said, I just left the gym. But anyways, just in case, niggas who just drink milk is crazy to me. But that's neither here nor there. You know what's funny about these Disney stars? They go through so much as kids. They be looking like, because I'm pretty sure, I was gonna say he's like my age. He might be my age. We're gonna look it up after. But he looked bad. Like, he looked like he in his like late 40s or early 40s. But he might be. You know what I'm saying? Because these Disney stars be old as shit. They be acting like 12-year-olds, but really be 25. So who knows?
Are
Let's go back a little bit.
Their head.
My response to those allegations are that, first off, we would need to go back.
As soon as he said, "First off, I knew my boy was lying." Kyle Massey is another classic example of our childhood nostalgia getting destroyed by adult criminal behavior. And today we are going to deep dive into the entire story, because this one is unbelievable. Kyle Massey's entry into the entertainment industry wasn't fueled by ambition, nor was it a lifelong dream. Kyle was introduced to the business through his older brother Chris, who was best known for his role as Michael on the Nickelodeon sitcom.
When I first found out that was his brother, because they look alike. But when I was young, I had no idea. I'm like, oh, these niggas is brothers. Now I'm gonna ask y'all. Let me know in the comments who y'all think is a better actor. Who y'all think had a better career? Kyle Massey or his brother Michael from Zoe 101? Personally, Michael's my guy. Michael is my guy. No bullshit. I didn't really like Cory in the House. I wasn't really a fan. He was funny as hell on That's So Raven though. But let's get back into it.
Zoe 101.
Nice shooting. Yeah, Zoe. That was tripping.
Kyle would tag along with his mother and his brother to auditions, which ultimately led to him auditioning and getting his first job.
It was his audition, and then they just pulled me in by accident. And once they tried to pull me in, my mom was like, "Oh, like, don't take him. Like, he not gonna act right." Yeah, my mom was like, "I don't want him ruining the chances for my son that can do the right thing."
So
right?
you acting crazy.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was acting crazy. But they ended up pulling me in the audition. I ended up getting the job. And that
From
was,
your brother? You took it from your brother?
Took it from my brother.
Hilarious. I didn't know that.
Crazy.
The family moved from Atlanta to Los Angeles, where both brothers continued trying out for film and television.
I ain't gonna lie, they look like some Atlanta niggas though. They look like they from Atlanta. They don't talk like it, probably because they was in LA for so long, but I don't know. For some reason, Cory just give me Drewski for some reason. I don't know.
And Kyle nearly landed the role of Beans on the Disney Channel show Even Stevens.
What?
But instead, the executive producers of Even Stevens were working on a show called That's So Raven and decided to give Kyle a role on that show, which ended up being one of the most successful shows in Disney Channel history.
That's a fact.
That's So Raven follows Raven Baxter, a teen girl who has psychic visions that sometimes predict the future. The show had a repetitive and predictable formula, but it was honestly genius. Every episode would essentially start with Raven having a vision of something bad, dangerous, scary, or awkward that might happen in the future.
You know what I be thinking about? Like, y'all gonna think I sound mad crazy, right? But everything that I said in the past somehow, you know, came to fruition. So maybe I'm not too crazy. But what if, right? And I know the answer, but what if, like, Raven, like, what if we actually have that ability? What if there are people who have that ability? You know what I'm saying? What if Raven's third eye was just so open, her chakras were aligned, you know what I'm saying, that she was able to tap into her ability, you know, one of the abilities that we all have. You know what I'm saying? Like, if y'all watch anime, you know, Avatar, Naruto, motherfuckers be, you know what I'm saying, all the chakras and, you know, the chakras, you know, everybody got like certain abilities, like they control water, fire, air, electricity. Y'all think that, like, all these ideas come from something, you know what I'm saying? It has to be real. You know what I'm saying? They didn't just create mermaids out of the, that's not even the, that's a conversation for another day. But yeah, y'all pay attention. But that's not even a conversation. Let's get back into the reaction. My fault.
He would then spend the entire episode desperately trying to stop that outcome, only for her overreactions and interference to be the very thing that causes the vision to come true. But the reason why the show was so popular was less about the plot and more about Raven's chemistry with her best friends, Eddie and Chelsea, as well as her dynamic with her family, which included her younger brother Cory, played by Kyle Massey. Cory is introduced as a clever, mischievous...
Cory was by far the funniest person on the show. Like, Raven, she was pretty funny, but Cory? Yo, Cory had that show so lit, it's not even funny, bro. I promise you. And it's a black show, so you already know. But Cory was like, yeah, like he was one of them ones, bro.
Kid who is always plotting on how to make quick money, impress his friends, or get one over on people.
Gotcha, Raven! Mom? Dad? I am so disappointed!
Very similar to the character of Megan on Drake and Josh, Cory is super confident, sometimes cocky, often believing he's outsmarted everyone around him.
Hey, Cory, what's with the snorkel? How do you breathe?
I don't. That's kind of the point.
Raven and Cory's sibling rivalry revolves around the two constantly teasing and undermining one
God damn,
another,
the
which felt
quality
like
is so bad. They couldn't find some good clips.
That is rarely shown on TV.
Why do you always have to follow me? I was using your big head to block out the sun.
The only thing that made Cory unrealistic as a character is that he was way funnier and more charismatic than a real-life younger brother.
Hand over the phone, worm.
Don't look at me, the boy is good.
And my nickname isn't Worm or Maggie, it's Dr. Love.
But despite Cory and Raven constantly bickering and fighting, they have deep, familial, unconditional love for each other.
Cory, I never thought I'd say this, but I'm so proud of you. I never thought I'd say this. Thanks for having my back.
That's So Raven was a massive hit from the beginning, debuting to 3.4 million viewers, which was higher than any Disney original series premiere at that time.
Because it was a black show, bro.
Drastically. Even a random episode deep into season 3 would secure as much as 5 million viewers. The show and cast were nominated for various awards over 30 times. They wrote books based around the show, sold video games, and even were nominated for 2 Emmys.
Fucking yo, what was that website? If you were my generation, what was that website we used to play when we was kids? It was like, damn, maybe it was DisneyChannel.com. I think it was DisneyChannel.com, but that shit, yo, it had all the games,
based around
bro.
The show, sold video.
But there was another website that we used to play as kids, like, damn, I wish I could remember the name, but that shit had me so lit. Summertime, school, when you used to use a computer, you'd be on that website, like, Damn, I wish I could remember the name, bro. Ah, man. If y'all know what it is, what that website was we used to play games on, let me know in the comments.
Games, and even were nominated for 2 Emmys. After 100 episodes, That's So Raven redefined the Disney Channel, and executives were trying to milk Raven-Symoné's popularity for as long as possible,
Yo,
which
Raven
ended
used to
up
look
benefiting
good,
Kyle
bro.
Massey significantly. Disney Channel executives pitched That's So Raven 2, which was going to be a show that follows Raven to college, but Raven had been working in the entertainment industry since she was 3 years old and wanted to retire by age 18, so she ultimately decided not to take on a new role, which forced the network to shift focus and develop a spin-off around Kyle Massey instead. But first, picture this. You're about to board a plane and you notice one of the engines is smoking. There's a good reason that you wouldn't trust that plane. Just like there's a reason why Morgan & Morgan is a
hell no. They almost got me. He almost got me, bro.
He leaves San Francisco and moves to Washington, D.C. to live in the White House. Cory's father, Victor Baxter, is hired as the personal chef to the President of the United States. As soon as he gets there, Cory wastes no time getting into trouble, but the chaos is more ridiculous because they are inside the most powerful government building in the world.
And there's the state.
All right, back up. I've got some work to do, okay? I am going to fix this with Grandma Parum's old-timey Bahavian stain remover. A splash of yak milk.
Cory's plans usually clash with the strict rules and routines of presidential life, leading to comedic situations involving Secret Service agents and the presidential family.
He could lick my hand all day.
While Cory and the
I ain't gonna lie, I feel like, and I could be 100% wrong. If y'all don't agree with me, I'm not mad at it, but I do feel like Cory in the House is like around that era. If I could remember correctly, I feel like that's when Disney started falling off. I could be wrong, but I wasn't a fan of Cory in the House. Like, I was not a fan of that show. I know a lot of people are gonna disagree with me with that one because that was like, you know, motherfuckers was really fucking with Cory in there, but I wasn't a fan of that show for real. Like, it wasn't my thing.
House was not as popular nor culturally iconic as That's So Raven, it maintained solid cable ratings. Sometimes it would rank as the network's most watched show for that week. The show was originally planned for 3 seasons, however, during the filming of a season 2 episode in which Cory goes overboard on a large boat, an accident occurred. Because the boat was rented, the crew couldn't make the usual modifications to ensure safety while filming. The plan was for Kyle to say his lines at the edge of the boat, then a stunt person would step in to leap off the side of the boat and drop onto a stack of thick padded mats below. Instead, Kyle jumped over the edge of the boat himself. Kyle thought it would be really funny if he did the fall. When Kyle fell off the boat, he hit the mat at an angle, rolling off and smashing his head on the concrete soundstage floor. He was rushed to the hospital. Once medically cleared, Massey returned to shoot more episodes for the season, but the show would ultimately be canceled for other reasons. And that's because at this time, the 2007 and 8 Writers Guild of America strike began, where TV and film writers refused to work due to being paid scraps compared to the massive profits the studios were making. The strike lasted 100 days and brought Hollywood to a standstill.
Oh, that was around this time?
Shut down production, seasons got shortened or canceled, and scripted TV mostly disappeared for months while reality shows rushed in to fill the gap. Cory in the House was one of those shows that essentially ended because of the strike. In the end, Disney Channel aired 34 episodes of the show, but now Kyle Massey's future in Hollywood was uncertain. Like many child stars, Kyle was too associated with his youthful, exaggerated, safe, Disney-like persona, making it difficult for studios to cast him or market him as an adult. In 2010, he competed on the 11th season of Dancing with the Stars, where he and professional partner Lacey Schwimmer finished as runners-up in the competition. Still eager for work, he ended up taking on more family-friendly type jobs, securing a role on a Disney animated series called Fish Hooks, where he voiced a fish named Milo. The show ran from 2010 to 2014, which was a consistent paycheck,
Did y'all
but
watch
not
the show?
exactly
I
an
didn't.
illustrious Hollywood career. And like other former Disney stars, the press becomes thirsty for a shock-driven narrative. Leaked photos, exaggerated scandals, and rumors so they can say, remember this kid? Look how far they've fallen. Desperate for drama, rumors rumors persisted that Kyle was dying from cancer. Kyle
What?
told ET
I heard about
overnight it was
that.
trending on Twitter that I'm dying of cancer. I want to say first, I do not have cancer, and I don't know where this inconsiderate and insensitive rumor originated from. And looking back on this,
That's
I think
fucked up.
another reason why rumors were being spread about Kyle Massey was because of his developing close relationship with Justin Bieber. Justin and Kyle developed a bond over them both being famous since a very young age.
Why are you always so burnt? Is what I want to know.
Shut up, bro. I'm not burnt, nigga. Burnt niggas don't eat filet.
Justin was likely a huge help in launching Kyle's rap career because his acting career wasn't.
This generation right here, this gotta be like, what, 2012, 2013? Crooks and Castles used to be my shit, bro. Crooks and Castles, all those brands. We used to actually dress like this and take pictures. We used to take selfies like this back in the day. I'm pretty sure if I run through all of my generations, like old profile pictures, you'll see like crazy. We had my generation had a run, bro. I don't know about anybody else's generation. We had a run, my nigga.
Working out. He got roles in a few direct-to-DVD films and TV shows like the superhero crime drama Gotham, as well as a recurring role in Cartoon Network's Mighty Magus Words. But Kyle still had the jovial, lovable kid persona and round baby face even as he aged into adulthood.
Here's the thing. As he got older, and this is just me trying to look at it from like a viewer of a TV show, right? He doesn't have the same face, right? I'm not calling the nigga ugly. No offense to the nigga, but he don't have the same face he did when he was a child. And once you realize that, you kind of have to branch out into other forms of acting, I think. Like, maybe he should have, you know, took his career more in a more serious route, like did different roles and more serious roles, bro. He could have did more serious roles, or maybe like villainous roles or something like that. And I know there's a negative stigma on black people playing villain roles or whatever, but at the same time, it would have kept his career going instead of, you know, wherever it is today, because we don't really know too much about him besides him being on That's So Raven and Cory in the House and hanging out with Justin Bieber. Like, come on. Or, you know, that's when you get into other things like directing or writing and shit like that. So he definitely could have, you know, a lot of people don't like to take their career in a different route because they like to stick to what they used to, but sometimes you just gotta branch out and do other things, you know what I'm saying? So the fact that he was doing voiceovers, cool. Now what else? Like, you know, like you have to constantly evolve. Reinvent yourself is the word I was looking for, but yeah.
And since he wasn't able to prove that he was all grown up on TV, he decided to pursue music, uploading hip-hop tracks to SoundCloud where he raps about having sex with women and getting money.
Niggas, they see me, I forward my motion, I'm dropping these hits while they flopping. Yo, give me sloppy toppy.
Now I'm assuming that him becoming essentially a...
Why he say it like that though? Like that's not what rap music is. I don't really like that narrative he just put. I don't fuck with that. He started rapping about having sex with women. Like, what, bro?
He raps about having sex with women and getting money.
Niggas, they see me, I forward my...
Why he say that? I don't really fuck with that. I don't really fuck with that. Maybe this nigga should have grew some facial hair. And then the industry probably would have took him more serious. Who knows?
I'm dropping these hits while they flopping. Yo, give me sloppy toppy.
Now I'm assuming that him becoming essentially a part of Justin Bieber's entourage is what helped him get connected with very successful artists, because he had a relative amount of success in music. He produced a song called Hard Work for French Montana in 2015, as well as featured on a song called Syrup with Soulja Boy. Then again, the rapper lifestyle can come with its own set of risks, and Kyle and his brother Chris would find that out the hard way. Chris was also frequently posted up in the studio with rappers and producers. At this point, I'm not sure if he was actually making any music or if he was just in there for the lifestyle, but he was definitely entrenched in the music industry. And in November of 2014, Chris Massey was throwing a party at his penthouse apartment when he asked rapper Lil Twist to leave following an argument. Twist reportedly left, but returned roughly 30 minutes later with 4 other men and forced their way back inside. Once inside, they attacked Chris, reportedly beating him with brass knuckles, humiliating him, and stealing his wallet and cell phone. Chris required medical attention for his injuries, but denied speaking to the media. Twist was charged with 6 felonies, including burglary, battery, grand theft, criminal threats,
right, get that fucking criminal up out of here.
Weapon. He eventually pleaded no contest, but was sentenced to 1 year in jail in 2016, followed by probation. It was now the mid-2010s, and Kyle Massey was stuck in a situation.
Ain't nobody ever looking for Lil Twist. Ever. I don't know if I ever heard a Lil Twist song. Bad investment by Young Money. No cap.
Most people can't relate to. His full-time job at this point seemed to be flying around the world with Justin Bieber, going to shows and concerts with him, partying with rappers and models, and witnessing the business deals Bieber was securing. Kyle was living the lifestyle of being extremely famous and successful, but as we know, he didn't have any current major film or TV roles to justify cozying up with the Kardashians, but rather that he was tagging alongside the biggest pop star of the 2010s. However, that almost changed in the summer of 2015 when Raven-Symoné and the original main cast of That's So Raven reunited in an appearance on The View. Notice how the interviewer asks what Kyle is working on, but he doesn't answer the question.
Actually, since That's So Raven, you went on to do a bunch of other shows and you came in 2nd place on Dancing with the Stars, which was like awesome. So exciting. What are you working on now?
Hey, fuck it up.
I have a lot of different projects.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
People suspected that since the cast was reunited and Disney Channel was leaning into reboots after finding success with Girl Meets World, that maybe a That's So Raven reboot was coming, and we would later find out that it was. Only Kyle was not going to be invited. Even worse, he would also be accused of promising a 13-year-old girl that he could get her a role on that show, and would be charged with sending explicit pictures of himself to that child.
Okay, talk about it.
The victim, who wasn't named due to her age, claimed she met Kyle when she was 4 years old, meaning Kyle was 18 or 19 and 2 years removed from the end of Cory in the House. Interested in pursuing a career in entertainment, she remained in contact with him, and Massey became close with her and her family. He later suggested that she travel from Seattle, Washington to live with him and his girlfriend in LA. The girl and her mother say Kyle held himself out as a father figure to her, and their contact increased in November 2018 when the girl expressed interest in a role on the rebooted version of That's So Raven. Raven's Home was the official spin-off that premiered in the summer of 2017 and followed a similar plot as the original. Raven Baxter is now an adult single mother living in Chicago.
Alright, whatever, bro. I don't give a fuck what nobody said. Like, it is not normal. I don't give a fuck if you're in the industry, a regular nigga. It don't make sense to me to have contact with somebody underage, bro. I don't, because it just don't work. It don't work. If I'm right, my videos low-key be doing numbers on TikTok. If a younger person, you know what I'm saying, comes to me asking me how to, you know what I'm saying, like, how do I go about streaming, or how do I go about YouTube or TikTok videos, you know what I'm saying? Boom, I'll give them advice, but I'm not staying in touch with somebody who's younger. I don't give a fuck if it's a boy or a girl, especially a girl. I'm not staying in touch with that person. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I got a homegirl that said they don't, you know, it don't matter because, you know, if we want to touch on the whole Drake and Bobby situation, like, I don't think that's appropriate. Like, for that nigga, yeah, they're in the industry, but why are you giving her boy advice? You almost 40 years old and she a teenager, bro. Like, I don't see that to be appropriate. I don't give a fuck if they're stars or not. Like, it leaves the door open for something else. Like, what are we talking about? In this situation, what they just talked about, he knew her since he was 27, she was 4. It looked like grooming. So that's what the entryway is grooming. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't fuck with that shit, bro.
with her twin children, Booker and Nia, who have inherited her psychic abilities. The show reunites Raven with her best friend Chelsea.
I don't know why they're giving all this advice right here.
The
video's supposed to be about Kyle. Like, can we get back into this, please?
And Kyle Massey were left out. Massey told Perez Hilton, as far as That's So Raven 2, I'm not really sure what part I will play in the show, if any. I spoke with Raven a few weeks ago, but we haven't officially secured anything yet. I would always be down to do a guest spot on her show. Raven can make it happen. Hell, who knows? I might have to bring Cory in the house back with a fake Donald Trump as president. You never know. Just know it's always a party when you get the gang back together. It was clear that Kyle Massey didn't just want this opportunity, he needed it. However, he would never get a role on Raven's Home, nor would he get a reboot of his own show. And maybe that's a good thing. Massey's contact with the underage victim increased heavily in November of 2018 because during that same month, the third season of Raven's Home planned on adding several new female characters ranging from 11 to 13 years old. Because Kyle had been a part of the original show, the alleged victim likely assumed that he had the connections necessary to help her get a role. And this is when Kyle contacted the girl's mother to invite the girl to stay with him and his girlfriend in Los Angeles so he could help her find an agent.
No. Does nobody else see an issue with that? That's a problem. Yeah, stay with me and my girl. She's 13. She's 13. Not 18. That's grooming. Stay with me and my girl and we can try to see what we can do. What are we talking about?
However, a month later, he allegedly added the girl as a friend on Snapchat and shortly after sent her numerous explicit text messages, images, and videos. When the allegations went public, Massey firmly denied any wrongdoing. No child should ever be exposed to explicit materials, and I unequivocally and categorically deny any alleged misconduct. He stated that in early 2019, the plaintiff's attorneys demanded $1.5 million and threatened to go public and damage his career if he refused to comply. My family and I reject this extortion attempt because I have faith that the legal process will reveal the truth.
Okay, now, not saying that he did it, because it's very possible that he did it. This is all alleged, right? Because it's very possible that he was trying to help her get on the show, right? Let's look at it from this perspective. He was trying to help her get on the show and it didn't go her way, or the family didn't see it going that way. And it was like, fuck it. Well, we need to try to do what we can do. Why you added her on Snapchat? Why are you having conversation with her? You know what I'm saying? Let your agent handle that. Have everything documented if that's the case. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he did. But why would you? There should be no door for this to happen. There should be no door for anybody to try to extort you. You shouldn't add her on Snapchat. You shouldn't try to get her to move in your house. Like, there's routes you could have avoided to avoid this happening. If she was trying to extort you, you really didn't do anything. That's the way I see it.
In response to the allegations, Kyle Massey's mother, Angel Massey, also took to social media to advocate for her son, using the hashtag #HeToo. Where's the justice for men? Women get to say stuff and do what they want and file lawsuits under Jane Doe.
That's very much
true.
The
mother's name is Kendra Andreas. My son's name is Kyle Massey. Kendra is another mother like me. Why does she not list her name in her complaint? This is hashtag #HeToo. From there, Angel posted a few screenshots of several media outlets' coverage of the allegations against her son. Kyle Massey was accused of sending an inappropriate picture of his penis to a minor. The second image of this post, from her attorneys to me and Kyle's dad, clearly says Kyle sent the picture to Miss Andreas. Her daughter's last name is different. Kendra Andreas is a liar. Angel appears to suggest that the explicit material that Kyle sent was directed to the teen girl's mother and not the child. But we wouldn't get any closure on this case until 2 years later, when the mother and not the explicit material that Kyle sent was directed to the teen girl's mother and not the child. But we wouldn't get any closure on this case until 2 years later, when the allegations resurfaced again in June of 2021, when he was charged with 1 count of immoral communication with a minor. The felony charge was filed in King County, Washington. Massey responded in a statement through his attorney, "It is unfortunate that Kyle Massey had to learn through the media yesterday that the 2019 allegations have resurfaced in the state of Washington, a year after their dismissal. Massey's team alleged that the accusers were attempting to use the Washington courts as a platform for revenge after losing the civil matter in California. According to Massey's legal team, Kyle was never properly served or notified about this charge by the court, which is why when he didn't show up for his arraignment on July 13th, a King County judge issued a $100,000 arrest warrant, drawing even more attention to the case. Public court records later indicated that the warrant remains active, but there are no publicly available records confirming that Massey was ever taken into custody on that warrant. He said, "The date and time that they claimed they arrested me, I just so happened to be filming a TV show with the production timestamp in front of 200 witnesses." Basically, Massey is accusing the courts of lying and creating a fake arrest. According to Massey, he has never been provided booking photos, fingerprints, or jail documentation that would normally accompany an arrest. He said, "After that, they basically used that fake arrest to get me my court date that I didn't show up to that got me to my warrant." Whether this reflects an error made by the courts, a miscommunication between agencies, or a corrupt system out to get him remains unclear. But this discrepancy became central to his defense. And in a shocking twist that nobody expected, Kyle actually claimed that he was the victim of abuse from the mother of the girl that was pressing charges against him.
That mother had an inappropriate relationship with me since I was a kid, when I was 15. Now I can sit here and I can like look at you and say it without breaking down. But you gotta understand, this was like one of the hardest moments in my life, because the person that took advantage of me when I was a child is now painting me as the predator.
According to his lawyer, Ariel Mitchell, Massey met the mother, Kendra Andreas, in California in 2007, 2 years before the mother claims that they met and when the actor was just 15. The claims that Massey portrayed himself as a father figure to her child are misleading, arguing that it was Miss Andreas who wanted him to fill that role. Even in the police statement, the mother says Mr. Massey was promising her, the mother, to marry her, the mother, and for them to move. The lawyer also referenced a potential witness who claimed the mother said that she was trying to get that Disney money and eventually have a baby with the actor. Kyle defended his...
Hey, I believe that too. I believe that too, because motherfuckers do anything for some money. Anything. So, hey, I definitely 100% believe that too.
Relationship with the daughter by claiming he had a history of mentoring and supporting aspiring performers. And I did it just out of the grace of my heart, just because I know how much I've been helped along my path. So as far as this girl, the whole me helping her situation was just another person that I was trying to help. Massey reiterated that he has been famous since the age of 8. He said that when he was a 16-year-old superstar and among the most famous African Americans in the country, he frequently met 12-year-olds with dreams, adding that many of those individuals later found success, which he attributed to his guidance. But then his story slightly changed, going from "this is absolute nonsense extortion" to "well, it was an accident." Kyle acknowledged accidentally sending the daughter what his lawyer described as an inadvertent disclosure that was not meant for the child. They said,
"See, I knew I should have fucking said it earlier when it was said that he sent the picture to the mom. It was meant for the mom, however it was said earlier. That was still like, okay, but did he add her on Snapchat? Where does the mom come into that? So, you get me.
Said there was some accidental communication where there was something sent. And then right after it was, "that wasn't for you" type of situation.
Oh. Why didn't I see when I said, "Do you get me?" This is what I was talking about. Even though it's right here, I didn't, type shit.
But that was it. Besides that, Kyle does have a somewhat decent defense here. The mother claims Kyle met her daughter when she was 4. Well, how else would he meet a 4-year-old? Not online, that's for sure. Kyle claims that the mother pursued him, groomed him to be her partner and a father figure to the child when he was also underage, which is not that hard to believe considering the countless horror stories we have heard from previous Disney and Nickelodeon stars. So yeah, it is possible that some crazy lady saw Kyle Massey, a 15-year-old Disney star, and decided to groom him and think, oh, he's probably rich and loaded and we're going to have a family one day.
That's
it's
true.
Possible. Regardless of that.
So even if he wasn't trying to groom the girl, the mom could have been possibly trying to groom him. You know what I'm saying? So either situation is very much possible, bro.
Kyle initially said this entire situation was baseless extortion, then admits that he was not only communicating with this minor consistently over the course of many years, but also admitting to sending explicit material to that child, but just trying to say it was an accident and intended for the mother.
And that's what
so
you
even
fucked
in
up.
this messy case that's full of he said, she said, there's still an admission that something happened that never should have happened in the first place.
Right.
But it's been 5 years since he received this charge, and the case against Massey hasn't been resolved, and an outcome has not been confirmed. During this time, Kyle continued to flood his Instagram with pictures of him hanging out with celebrities, rappers, and internet influencers, although he didn't post much with his longtime buddy Bieber. It seemed like he had developed enough friendships in LA or maintained just enough fame to be in the mix with new stars.
This nigga cannot
His
dress.
career was far from thriving. He struggled to get anything more than an extra role on a low-budget film. He did secure a recurring role on a 2021 sitcom called Millennials that was canceled after 2 seasons. But after these allegations hit, he has not had a job in Hollywood, and he hasn't posted on social media in years. However, his old co-star Orlando Brown was not going to let him forget about what he did.
Uh-oh.
Kyle, did you go to court yet, nigga? For showing your to that 14-year-old? Because you'll never be me, nigga. You need to go to court first and handle your problems and fix the things you do with your little dick. Okay.
These days, the only time you see Kyle on the internet is the occasional podcast, but I also noticed that he drops music consistently but doesn't tell anyone about it or promote it. One of his more recent songs was called Trumpet, which was a celebration song for Donald Trump being re-elected.
I can't lie, they want that trumpet. You know the vibes, Joe Biden lied.
Kyle Massey was another Disney kid who grew up inside a machine that...
Man, that shit was ass. Fuck is you talking? I ain't gonna lie. It started off fire. I'm like, oh shit. And then all of a sudden, it just wasn't hitting. Like, he should have like reverb, dubbed, all that other shit. Like, it wasn't. How you hang around all these rappers and you don't know how to make music for real? Like, that shit crazy.
That rewarded fame before maturity, and as a result, he led a life where he failed to grow up at best and committed horrific...
You could tell he could, like, there's no growth. Where, unless he can't grow facial hair, which you've seen him with a little stubble, okay? Nigga, you're not a kid anymore. grow the beard, bro. Grow a mustache at least. Hey, chin hair, something. Like, you're not a kid anymore. You look crazy.
Crimes against children at worst. Whether Kyle Massey was failed by the system, the people around him, or his own decisions, the result is the same. A once childhood icon's reputation is now permanently destroyed. The craziest part is the same thing happened to his That's So Raven co-star Orlando Brown, who suffered one of the most obscure downfalls we have ever seen. But you can hear about that story in this video.
Why his eyes like that? I don't like that. I don't like that. Get that shit out my face. No. I ain't gonna lie. I don't feel bad for these celebrities that get themselves into those situations. It sounds like to me, it sounds like he making excuses, like, oh, playing the victim role. And that happens a lot too. So I don't have no feelings towards the situation. You know what I'm saying? He very much could be wrong. I believe he could be wrong. But it also could, you know what I'm saying, go out the other way. So pause. So I don't have no feelings towards it. What do y'all think? Y'all think he did it? Y'all think he didn't do it? Y'all think he's a victim? Do y'all think he's playing victim? Like, let me know what y'all think in the comments. Yeah, I don't know.